The Book of the Damned, by Charles Hoyfort, Chapter 26b. Journal of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, November and December, 1913. That, according to many observations collected by Professor Chant of Toronto, there appeared, upon the night of February 9th, 1913, a spectacle that was seen in Canada, the United States, and at sea, and in Bermuda. A luminous body was seen. To it there was a long tail. The body grew rapidly larger. Observers differ as to whether the body was single, or was composed of 3 or 4 parts, with a tail to each part. The group, or complex structure, moved with a peculiar, majestic, dignified deliberation. It disappeared in the distance, and another group emerged from its place of origin. Onward they moved, at the same deliberate pace, in 2s or 3s or 4s. They disappeared. A third group, or a third structure, followed. Some observers compared the spectacle to a fleet of airships, others to battleships attended by cruisers and destroyers. According to one writer, there were probably 30 or 32 bodies, and the peculiar thing about them was their moving in 4s and 3s and 2s abreast of one another, and so perfect was the lining up that you would have thought it was an aerial fleet maneuvering after rigid drilling. Nature, May 25, 1893. A letter from Captain Charles J. Norcock of the Her Majesty's ship Caroline. That, upon the 24th of February, 1893, at 10 p.m., between Shanghai and Japan, the officer of the watch had reported some unusual lights. They were between the ship and a mountain. The mountain was about 6,000 feet high. The lights seemed to be globular. They moved sometimes massed, but sometimes strung out in an irregular line. They bore northward until lost to sight. Duration 2 hours. The next night the lights were seen again. They were, for a time, eclipsed by a small island. They bore north at about the same speed and in about the same direction as the speed and direction of the Caroline. But they were lights that cast a reflection. There was a glare upon the horizon under them. A telescope brought out but few details. That they were reddish, and seemed to emit a faint smoke. This time the duration was 7.5 hours. Then Captain Norcock says that, in the same general locality, and at about the same time, Captain Castle of the Her Majesty's ship Leander had seen lights. He altered his course and had made toward them. The lights had fled from him. At least, they had moved higher in the sky. Monthly Weather Review, March, 1904, page 115. Report from the observations of 3 members of his crew by Lieutenant Frank Herman Schofield, United States Navy, of the United States Ship Supply. February 28, 1904. 3 luminous objects, of different sizes, the largest having an apparent area of about 6 suns. When first sighted, they were not very high. They were below clouds of an estimated height of about 1 mile. They fled, or they evaded, or they turned. They went up into the clouds below which they had, at first, been sighted. Their unison of movement. But they were of different sizes, and of different susceptibilities to all forces of this earth and of the air.